Wait. Sure is nice out here today. Freaking ocean rolling. Seabirds.
Hey.
Seabirding.
Hey, excuse me. Excuse me. Hey. Hey, excuse me there, sir. Hey.
No, hey.
Hey.
I'm kind of enjoying my day here, man.
Well, I'm glad that you're having a good time. Yeah.
Major.
You're the major.
Yes,
Okay.
Thank you.
It
Address
is
me by my
nice
title.
to meet you.
Yeah. Who are you?
I'm just a humble seaman. But it seems to me that you've got this nice raft all to yourself.
Well, yeah. I mean, look,
And
gorgeous out here. I mean,
well, our
I needed a vacation. I needed some time off.
our ship sank pretty dramatically last night. We got about
Yeah, I was there.
it looks like about 900 men scattered about in the water.
Yeah, how you guys doing?
Well, I mean, we've been worse. Maybe
Remember?
some of us. Some
Okay.
of us are very dead.
That sucks.
But we've also, I would say, been better. Hot. You know, there's
No, it's kind of nice though.
It's we don't have.
breeze is nice.
We don't have any food. You seem to be
You
enjoying.
guys don't have anything?
Seem to be enjoying those crackers. Got some tin biscuits.
Fucking good.
Well, see, sir, I was wondering if it might be possible at all for me, maybe just me specifically, to get on your raft.
No?
See, every 10 minutes or so, one of us gets brutally murdered by a shark.
There's not a lot of space on this raft, man.
There seems to be enough space for two.
Yeah, but what am I going to do with all these cans of beans and stuff? I would throw them
You know, hey,
overboard.
we'll just scoot them on over. Maybe you could share one of those cans of beans with me.
Listen. God damn, this is good. As a ranking officer here, I'm going to need you to get your hand. Get your hand off my boat. There's no room here between the chips and the beans. What is that, chewing gum? Yeah, there's not really space. It's
Okay.
not a very big raft.
Let me see if there's another. Hey, you over there on the big raft. Do you have any room for me?
What?
Do you have any room for another guy?
No! Eat dicks!
Well, he doesn't seem enthusiastic about adding the passage. Well, so I understand where you're coming from, but it seems that I am actively being eaten by a shark. One has a hold of my foot right now and
Bummer.
is moving back and forth in a pretty vigorous sawing motion. And it seems like, well, no, I am dead, actually.
Huh. Well, I guess that's problem solved. Welcome back, everyone, to Delete Everything Podcast, our ship on the ocean that's getting ready to capsize and dump you into copious amounts of deleted, omitted, forgotten, and partial histories
That will eat your fucking ass.
that will eat.
Oh, let me rephrase.
That means
that
something
will
different.
Eat your fucking ass.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that the difference? The inflection? Okay.
Inflection means a lot. Inflection counts for like a lot.
It
when
sure
you're
does.
talking about eating ass. Like somebody's like riding a bicycle and crash into something like, ooh, that dude fucking ate ass.
Gross. I am First Mate Patrick Wall, and with me, as always, the captain of the ship.
Riley Bowen.
This week's ship, for sure. You're in charge this week.
Hi, everybody. Avast.
This week, we are talking about a pretty bad nautical disaster.
One of the most horrifying things that's ever happened in the history of the world.
Yeah. But before we get into that, thank you to anyone and everyone who has left us reviews on Apple Podcast, ratings on anything you're listening to, comments on Spotify, you name it. We appreciate it. We found the review that we were looking for last week, but the person who did it changed it. It's still a great review.
Yeah, it's good.
The wording was changed. I really did like these sweet, sweet boys.
Whoever Country Bumpkin is.
My sweet boys.
Thanks, man. Fucking
Yeah.
cool.
Man or
Man, lady man.
lady man.
Lady man. I mean, whatever. Just fucking drop us a line. We'll have you on as a guest unless you're real fucking weird.
All that for a review, huh?
Yeah, I'll do more than that, baby.
Hey.
I'll talk about sweet boys.
If you have not yet, please get on whatever you're listening to. Leave us a rating of 5 stars. It really helps us out. If you are on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review too. It takes a second, but I mean, you could do it right there from your phone. Just clack a little something stupid about how you like the show or whatever you like. Tell us what you like about, I don't know.
Did you guys see that new movie? Just tell us about it. Tell us
about that new movie you saw. We like that. As long as it comes with 5 stars, it's helpful to us. Trust me, more than you can possibly imagine. Same with Spotify. You can give us a 5-star rating there. You can leave a comment on whatever episode you like, whatever episode you didn't like too, I guess, if you want. But really just the 5 stars is what we want.
5-star pizza.
Anything. Jesus Christ.
Hungry. Did you hear my stomach just then?
No. Also, check us out on Instagram at Delete Everything Podcast. You can find a bunch of videos and photos that correspond to all the episodes and whatnot. We've also got a ton of shorts on YouTube at Delete Everything Podcast, and all of those videos and stuff on our Instagram and on our YouTube come from our Patreon episodes, which we have a really fun blast with. And,
we just did a good one.
Yeah, we just did one about.
Also, welcome Seth Robb.
Yeah, we also Seth Robb, new Patreon subscriber. Thanks, buddy. We
Rob.
I'm going Rob, like Broccoli Rob.
Hey, what's up, Seth Robb?
I'm calling him Broccoli. What's up, Broccoli?
Broccoli Rob.
Broccoli Rob. We just did one on, oh my God, what was here's the thing about our Patreon.
We forget about it instantly.
Every single episode has a topic name. At some point, either at the beginning or the end or somewhere in the middle, we will talk about the thing the episode is called.
Yeah, we never don't talk about the topic.
Sometimes it may only be 2 sentences.
Sometimes
and then the rest
the whole
of it
thing.
is just
Penis Museum
free-form.
was all about penis museums.
That is true. Sometimes we stick to it.
Yeah.
Most of the time we don't. But that's okay. We have a fun time. It's a very meandering journey every time you get on.
Every day is a winding road.
So the one today, we talked about Renaissance fairs. We talked about motorcycle jousting.
Yep.
We talked about some eccentric little guy in Austria in the early 1900s. And then we talked about how gay pirates were.
So gay, dude.
Yes. In the homosexual way, not in the like, gay, but kind of both.
You know how pirates like to do it?
In the butt.
In the arse.
You just made that up, didn't you?
Yeah, fucking
I love
gay.
It. I like it. I like what you just said.
I like what you just said.
And speaking of Patreon, by the way, those videos come from Patreon. You can join our Patreon. You can feel free to, if you like what you just heard, we just recorded. Patreon.com/Delete Everything Podcast is where you will find us. We've got 3 episodes that are unlocked if you want to listen before you commit. But if you do that, that's the way that you can say thank you and give us a few bucks, and that all goes right back into the podcast. So join us.
Join us.
I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. All right. Well, that's the intro. Hey, there's Drew. Drew just walked in the studio like a maniac.
Like
Jesus Christ.
Huh? Today's topic is the USS Indianapolis, which, if anyone is not aware, is the designation of an American battleship that was used primarily in World War II in the Pacific. So, hence
the U.S.S.
Get your dads, everybody. We're talking about the World War II Pacific campaign a little bit here. Be like, hey, Dad. You're going to like this one.
Yeah, come on.
They're going to mention Iwo Jima. So the Indianapolis emerged from the naval and political environment created by major naval limitation treaties from the interwar period between World War I and World War II.
Okay.
Like World War I was such a time of a fucking rampant, insane industrialization and war.
Yes.
That like the directly after World War I, the entire world is like, hey, you cannot this is funny. You can't destroy an entire city with bombs.
Well, that was the first major war with things like planes.
Yeah, exactly. But not just planes, but like
and tanks,
fucking super mega cannons that could shoot a fucking cannon load like 25 miles, 30 miles and shit. Like load. We should talk at some point about the fucking what are those 2 big cannons? It was like Big Boy and Little Boy. Not to be confused with Fat Man and Little Boy.
Yeah, those were bombs.
But it was
those
like
nuclear bombs.
There was a cannon in World War I that was so crazy long that it could shoot like fucking around half the world. Yeah, it's fucking bananas. There's a whole movie about it, but we'll look at that later. So, following the enormous expenditure of the arms races associated with the First World War, the leading naval powers attempted to regulate warship construction through like a series of international agreements, most notably the Washington Naval Treaty and the London Naval Treaty.
Okay.
These agreements imposed restrictions on the size and armament of various categories of warships while still permitting the construction of like cruisers within certain limitations. That's all just to say that the reason that in World War II you see a big standardization worldwide, essentially, of naval capability. Submarines can skirt some of these limitations because you can't fucking see them.
Yeah.
but for the most part, like Battleship Yamamoto or some of the bigger like aircraft carriers, they could have a lot of room to carry fucking airplanes and shit, but they couldn't be armed as heavily with cannons and things like that.
Okay.
And that's not because they couldn't build it bigger. They could build a city on the ocean if they want that would destroy fucking everything and combine all of the ships. But there were limitations just put on the varying treaties around the world.
Okay.
War, very stupidly complicated in ways of like, no, you must gentlemanly only be able to kill 1,000 people with this cannon.
Yeah.
So the Indianapolis is what's known as a Portland class destroyer, which is big.
Okay.
There are only two ever made that were like that, is the Indianapolis and the Portland.
Okay.
So restrictions on the size and yada yada. American naval planners considered cruisers especially important for the Pacific operation because they combined speed, range, and substantial firepower. Battleships remained powerful, but comparatively slow. Like a battleship had a lot of armaments and shit.
Okay.
Right?
That makes sense.
The Indianapolis is a cruiser.
Okay.
So it's got heavy weapons. It's good at support, but it's also really fast and it can fucking travel long distances. But it carries more people. Standard full load for a cruiser is going to be somewhere between 11 and 1,500 people.
Okay.
Whereas your battleship could be like 600 people.
Okay.
So yeah, battleships were super, super powerful. They were slow, and destroyers lacked the endurance required for extended independent operations across the Pacific Ocean. They are just not that great at defending themselves if they get into a conflict because they're meant to carry, they're meant to support, they're meant to back things up.
Apparently meant to destroy.
Meant to destroy, yes. But so these cruisers, they need entourages, essentially. They're almost always in the Pacific campaign would be sent with an escort.
I got you.
That would be, multiple battleships or support ships or tankers.
So the really fast ship needs a lot of really slower ships to be around it.
Well, okay.
So that
think about it like this. So like in, say like during the Iraq War, right? We hear a lot about green zones in the Iraq War, right? So like you take fucking Fallujah or whatever, and then this section of Fallujah is considered a green zone, which means you don't necessarily need an escort every time you travel around inside of the area, right?
Yeah.
So with like the Indianapolis and the Portland, it would be like, okay, so we pushed our zone up to this section of Micronesia. Right, so between these islands, these would not be considered like particularly dangerous areas. You can go and
not have to worry about.
Right, yeah, we've got more armaments and more policy, and more than that, like you would be able to occupy an area in the Pacific between multiple islands with like little boats, little radio receiver boats that would be able to pay attention to things and call in help if necessary, or if they saw a submarine or some shit. Like a tugboat would be able to call in a bomb strike or something.
Got you.
Plus a lot of plane coverage.
Yes.
And then outside of that green zone of coverage, you don't want to send your cruiser out to fucking transport people or supplies.
Without some kind of...
without at least, aerial support.
Right, some kind of escort.
And the thing with aerial support, specifically in the 1940s, this is interesting to me a lot because my grandfather was a pilot, a bomber in World War II. In the Pacific, a lot of the planes that you would fly would be just little island hoppers. They'd be meant specifically for the fucking carrier, right? And you get off the carrier, go shoot some other stuff, and then come right back.
Right.
You got like an hour's worth of fuel, 2 hours worth of fuel. That's why there's so many dogfight campaigns in World War II. Fucking Japanese Zeros would come off of the Japanese carriers, and then the American planes would fly out, and they'd just fucking fight over the water, and then come back. And that was always... it wasn't like a planned fucking, hey, we're going to meet out here. We're going to fucking fly. No. It was always with the push because they were always pushing the lines, you know?
And also they would do it in waves.
Exactly.
You'd have 3-4 planes go off the carriers and go fight. And that was part of the strategy is like planes are going to be getting shot down and crashing into the ocean or going to be damaged badly enough that they go back to their carrier and they are not able to take off again without significant repairs. So not today. Basically,
very interesting detail.
And so it was also part of the strategy to be like, okay, let's start off with like 2 or 3, see where we get, you know, have the rest of the men like, okay, get ready, like we're gonna launch you as needed, basically.
Very interesting detail about all of that, I think, is that the planes coming off the carriers are not equipped to land in water. They're only equipped to fucking land on the carrier. So if you go down, the big like fail safe is you can either eject with a life jacket. Or you've got a bag that's got a floaty boat in it. Right. That's the ship. Once you fucking hit the water, that thing's fucking going down. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, for multiple reasons. One of the reasons is that like you don't necessarily want your enemy to be able to take. Like,
I can't remember. I can't remember if it was World War I or World War II, but like one of the big things that was like it might have been World War I don't know, but like the Germans would come back around and fucking shoot your parachute.
Oh yeah. I mean that's pretty standard shit, you know?
Well, I mean, now it is not. Now it's a war crime to do that.
Right.
You have disarmed a person.
It's kind of always been a war crime. You know what I mean? Like before the
term war crime is fucking silly as shit.
Before the designation of war crime, you know, like that's, it's like
not gentlemanly.
I always think of like this, the paradox of like making suicide illegal, you know, like, okay. I mean, what are you gonna fucking fine the family? Which they do, which I think is funny.
Do they really?
Yeah. Interesting, right?
I know you can technically get charged if you fail at your suicide attempt.
It's like if you've got debt, if you have debt and you die, that debt can get passed on to your spouse or child, right? Yeah, if you commit suicide, the fine for suicide can get passed on to your family. Which is, I mean, not only is it horrifying, it's also like there's a deterrent right there. If you don't want to fuck your family over, you know, don't do it.
I mean,
but it's like that's the war crime concept.
I don't know how
it's like, hey, don't commit war crimes, or you know what? We're gonna war against you. Like you're already at war. Fuck.
Yeah,
whatever.
But the term war crimes is pretty silly. And also, if you can afford a lawyer, I bet you can fight that fine against you if your family member commits suicide. Like
I guess.
Like
you can afford a lawyer.
Well, I mean. Well, lawyers probably. I don't know what the fine is. What's a fucking fine?
Like fucking $1,800.
Yeah, I can get a lawyer for that.
Anyway, so heavy cruisers occupied a middle position in naval doctrine.
That's not true, by the way. Lawyers are expensive as fuck.
Yes, they are. Heavy cruisers were intended to scout ahead of the fleet, escort carriers, conduct independent patrols, engage enemy surface vessels, mind you,
right,
and provide shore bombardment during amphibious operations. So that's one of their big things. Is like they would travel lightly ahead within range of like, oh, we got the carriers coming up behind us.
Clear the shore.
Yeah, exactly. So they're just like a little bit up ahead and then do long range bombardment where they can be like safely in the water and shoot at the land. You know,
where the fuck were they at Normandy? They didn't clear that shoreline.
They were in the Pacific Fleet on the other side of the Earth.
Not worried about France, huh?
It wouldn't have mattered. Normandy was like the most fortified shoreline on the planet. What are bombers going to do? Are they going to get fucking 900? There are 2 of these.
No, fair. Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? It's like Indianapolis and the Portland. Those are the only ones on Earth.
All right.
or are the only ones in the United States. Yeah, there are different classifications and types coming out of like Japan and the Chinese coast and stuff like that. But for America, these are the only 2 we got, which makes them kind of important for the campaigns, you know?
And when was the USS Indianapolis built?
The Indianapolis belonged to the Portland class of heavy cruisers. Construction took place in the New York Shipbuilding Corporation in Camden, Massachusetts. One of the major American shipbuilding centers of the period.
What year?
The keel was laid on March 31st, 1930, during the early years of the Great Depression.
Okay.
Something I find interesting about the New England coast is how much of it was industrialized for World War II.
Yeah.
Like
what I was going to say, the reason for me asking what year is because after Pearl Harbor, obviously we lost several ships. We already didn't have a ton of warships. And then it was like rush job, all hands on deck to basically build most of what we still have today as a naval fleet.
What I think is interesting about so World War One, so much of the focus was on Europe, right? So in like Portland, Maine, there's a massive like shipbuilding dock that's still like memorialized as a museum. All the way down the New England coast, there's just like there's ship after ship after ship that have been built. So that was all focused on going towards Europe. But when the Pacific campaign begins, they don't fucking have time really to build a fuckload of ships over on the West Coast. So a lot of stuff gets deployed from New England as they go down through the Panama Canal and come back out. Yeah. But specifically, the Indianapolis had already been in the Pacific because this is, between wars that this is built as like precautionary measure. Like, for the next time, we're going to have a lot of fucking ships built. So between wars, this is built and it comes down and it heads out into the Pacific.
Okay.
Yeah, so the keel was laid in 1930 during the early years of the Great Depression, which is an interesting time to start building giant ships. Even amid severe...
Hey, that's jobs, man.
Yeah, that it is. Even amid severe economic hardship, naval construction continued because policymakers regarded maritime strength as an essential to national defense and international influence. Remember, at the time, air power was not necessarily the powerhouse that it is today. At the time, fucking 1930, your airplanes were still made of cloth, for the most part. Cloth and wood.
Oh, wow.
So the process of constructing a heavy cruiser required an enormous industrial workforce, and thousands of laborers participated directly or indirectly in the ship's completion. Steelworkers assembled the hull frame like they do, yada, yada, riveters. The Indianapolis was launched on November 7th, 1931, and entered active service the following year. The vessel measured approximately 610 feet in length.
Wow.
And displaced roughly 10,000 tons under the treaty measurement standards.
Wow.
Although wartime modifications and combat loading increased her actual displacement significantly, 4 propeller shafts driven by steam turbines enabled speeds exceeding 32 knots, making the cruiser one of the faster major combatants in the fleet. That little blurb there also indicated that, there were all these standards and stuff for the construction between wars. And then when the war started, they're like, load this bitch up.
I got some numbers here, by the way.
311.
At the beginning of
204.
At the beginning of World War One, the U.S. Navy had about 300 to 350 total warships, which included 30 battleships, 20 cruisers, 70 destroyers, right? And then you've got your subs, your gunboats, all your auxiliary craft, right? 300 to 350 at the beginning of World War One. By the end of World War One, it had grown to around 2,000 vessels. Most of those were patrol boats, submarine chasers, escorts, transport, and support ships. But just from the beginning of World War One to the end of World War One, which is just a few years, basically.
Does it say on there how many ice cream barges there were?
that was World War II. But in World War One, the U.S. never had a major fleet battle. After Pearl Harbor and peaking in 1945, the U.S. Navy went from 2,000 vessels at the end of World War One. By 1945, end of World War II, the U.S. Navy had 6,700 total ships. 28 fleet aircraft carriers, 71 escort carriers, 23 battleships, 72 cruisers, 322 destroyers, and 232 submarines. And then all your fucking escorts and patrol vessels and auxiliary craft.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to...
That's good. I have here an armament and technical characteristics spread that I don't really want to fucking do. I mean, it's important to understand this is a powerful boat, but it's like mid-class in terms of yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. We'll say things like they've got 9 8-inch guns mounted in 3 triple turrets, got 2 forward and 1 aft. As we said, this is used for bombardment of shorelines. They've got a second battery of 5-inch guns capable of engaging surface and serial targets. It's a big fuck ship.
Right.
But this story isn't necessarily about that. That was what it was engaged for, was being a big fuck boat with a bunch of guns. But we'll get into... What
I think is interesting, going back to my thing, is, I don't know if you noticed, but the number of battleships between World War I and World War II actually went down from around 30 in World War I to 23 in World War II.
That is interesting. Maybe because of the reclassification of resources?
No, I just read this. The focus had become more on aerial battle.
Right.
So
carriers.
So more carriers, yeah.
It's just the evolution of war.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. You look at aircraft carriers, there were 0 in World War I. There were 99 in World War II.
Yeah.
So, and then destroyers went from around 70 World War I to 377 in World War II.
So by 1945, the Indianapolis carried numerous anti-aircraft weapons.
Okay.
Probably re-outfitted specifically because of what you were just saying.
Absolutely.
So that included a bunch of 20 millimeter cannons, 40 millimeter guns, radar-directed fire control systems, a bunch of shit like that. Right?
Okay.
Armor protection aboard the cruiser reflected the compromises inherent in treaty-era warship design. There are a lot of compromises to their actual defense that came out of these treaties. And the armor, it's harder to re-armor a fucking ship than it is to re-outfit it with bigger guns.
Okay.
You know, so like you essentially would have, I mean, look at the fucking the battleship Yamamoto, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is made of wood.
Right.
Motherfucking Japanese ships were wood. So in terms of like armor capability, America's already like, our boats are fucking steel. We're going to be fine.
Yeah.
You know, so you just load those motherfuckers up, make them super heavy because heavy boats are good.
I guess. As someone not on one currently, yeah, sure. Yeah. Great.
Armor protection aboard the cruiser reflected those compromises. The vessel possessed armored belts and protected magazines intended to shield critical systems from shell fire, but the overall level of protection remained limited compared to that of, let's say, battleships.
Okay.
Heavy cruisers emphasize speed and firepower over maximum survivability. Like, how to say, in a firefight, this is a more expendable ship.
Okay.
Right? A battleship is meant for maximum survivability because they need everyone on board to be firing guns.
All right.
Right? And the cruiser, a lot of these people are cooks, mechanics, maintenance workers, things like that. They're being traveled around the fleet. They're being fucking deboarded here or there. Other people are getting picked up.
Right.
There aren't necessarily specific groupings on this boat. They're more, I wouldn't call it a mishmash, but a less specifically organized grouping of soldiers.
Okay.
You know, you've got everyday seamen.
Special seamen.
Everyday seamen just floating out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
We are
so,
children.
We really are. Torpedo protection.
For some reason in my head, I just started singing, I am everyday seaman.
God damn it. So torpedo protection in particular remained a weakness among many cruisers of the period, which is going to come in heavily into play here shortly.
How do you protect from a fucking torpedo?
You don't get hit by one, or you have like a heavier hull, you know? So yeah, the lack of torpedo protection would prove decisive during the ship's final engagement.
Mm-hmm.
Beneath the combat decks, the engineering spaces represented a separate world of like labor and endurance. You know, these are all steam laborers,
right?
You know?
Right.
Like mechanics, wrench turners.
The guys who never see sunlight.
Yeah, so it's the seamen in the bottom those are the hardest working ones, even fruitlessly. Boilers generated high pressure steam.
Nothing to say back to that.
That drove the turbine powered ships, powering the ship's propellers. Temperatures within these compartments frequently exceeded 100 degrees Fahrenheit, particularly in tropical waters. Sailors assigned to engineering duties worked amid deafening noise, oil fumes, vibrating machinery, and persistent heat.
Yes.
You know, they're the classic fucking belly of the beast workers. You know,
taking years off their life fucking every hour they're down there.
Shoveling coal.
Yeah.
So these crews really didn't receive much attention, you know, in the glory of war, you know.
Right. Yeah, then you got some asshole up on deck in his fucking flight suit getting ready to get on his fucking get on his
Maverick over here is going to go fucking put on his scarf and his goggles.
About to hop in his fucking Mustang and fly off and
fucking shark mouth ass fucking ship.
Yeah, like, take out a Japanese Zero and come back and everybody's throwing a goddamn parade for him.
I shoveled coal.
There's some guys down below deck in overalls and no shirt, just sweating buckets.
I knew a guy who had been in World War II, who was like a friend of my grandfather's, that had fucking like lost a leg in the Pacific campaign, but it wasn't anything cool, just a literal shell casing from one of the guns on his own ship bounced and fucking took his leg off.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It was like, I mean, a lot of glory for that, I guess, but fuck.
Jesus.
So command of the Indianapolis. This is an important figure. Probably our only single important human figure in this story.
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage, yes. Actor Nicolas Cage traveled back in time and became a small baby named Charles Butler McVeigh III.
Doesn't he play that guy in the movie?
In the movie USS Indianapolis, Men of Valor? Yes, he does. That's what I'm saying. He went back, lived the entire life of Charles Butler McVeigh III, and then
that role
transported back to our time. He's a shamanistic actor, so he transcendentally meditated his way back and then perfectly portrayed that on screen.
Does he say that about himself?
Yeah, he's a shamanistic actor. Yeah. Did you know that Nicolas Cage, we'll talk about him on another episode, but Nicolas Cage will like make trinkets of the character that he's playing and like carry them in his pockets and shit when he's on screen. He'll be like, I think this guy would probably drive like a 1985 LTD. So I've got the keys to an LTD in my pocket at all times.
Oh, so he makes things that he thinks the character would have.
Yeah, to increase his perception of the characters. Like that person would have his car keys, so I'm going to have car keys for a car.
That I think that he drove.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, I feel like you would probably have a strong attachment to a pet as a child, so I've got like a little piece of pet fur, a dead dog in my pocket that I rub between takes. So, Command.
Nicolas Cage walking into a veterinary clinic and be like, do you have any dead dogs I can get some fur from?
Can I get a piece of dead dog fur, please? I need it for a roll. How about a cat?
A sexy cat.
Such a cat.
Oh my God.
Nicolas Cage uses the term nouveau shamanic to describe his highly experimental, imagination-driven acting techniques, inspired by the idea that ancient tribal shamans were the first actors.
What?
His method focuses on pushing the imagination to its limits so he can physically and mentally be the character without feeling like he is acting, which is cool.
That's one word.
He embodies the performance.
Okay.
And also, I would go so far as to say Nick Cage has never done a bad performance. He's been in bad movies. His character's been bad. I don't think he's ever been bad as the character.
There are too many movies.
All right, we're shifting the topic today.
Okay.
All right, now we're going to be talking specifically about Nick Cage for the next hour and a half.
Welcome back to Chatting Cage.
For films like Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance,
oh my God,
he sewed ancient Egyptian relics into his costume.
Stop the
carried
fuck,
stones
what?
like onyx that were believed to have physical or mystical vibrations.
Jesus.
And knowing Nick Cage, he sewed actual ancient Egyptian relics into his clothes because, he went bankrupt buying like artifacts and weird art and sculptures and shit.
Huh.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons you've seen Nick Cage in 8 million things is that he had to make a bunch of movies because he went broke because he made some bad investments in art. He's applied Afro-Caribbean or voodoo style black and white face paint with blacked out eyes to trick his mind into feeling like he was in an extra dimensional spirits before diving deep into his roles. For certain roles, he refused to speak a single word to his co-stars while on set. This was designed to project an aura of horror. All right, moving on.
I don't know even how to begin to open all that up.
He just doesn't want to feel like he's faking it, which is probably why in the movie USS Indianapolis, Men of Valor, he's good. He's perfectly good. He is a straightforward sea captain. He has no frills, does nothing unusual, and just is the character, which is, I think, cool.
I can't believe you watched that movie.
I did, and we're going to watch it again together. So Captain Charles Butler McVeigh III, not actually Nicolas Cage. He was a real person.
Okay.
Commander of the Indianapolis. Captain Charles Butler McVeigh III was a career naval officer from a family with extensive military traditions.
Okay.
So we're talking like, this is your World War II sea captain.
Generational military guy.
McVeigh graduated from the United States Naval Academy and served through the interwar period as the United States expanded and modernized its fleet. Like many professional officers of his generation, his career developed within a naval culture emphasizing discipline, hierarchy, technical competence, personal responsibility. This is the very model of a modern major sea captain.
Sure.
Right? He's fucking the sunglasses and the hat and the fucking like, we're going to go straight at him, that kind of guy.
Yeah.
He's fucking polishing his stars and shit.
Saying, God damn it, Private, a whole bunch.
I don't think so. I think that this particular character is more stalwart. Accounts from officers and enlisted sailors generally described McVeigh as serious, professional, and approachable.
Okay.
They're like a good captain.
He wasn't the goddamn it private guy.
Yeah,
He
no,
was
exactly. He'd be like, "What can I do for you, private?
Yeah.
How can we help today? I don't have time for that today, but perhaps we can get on that later."
Right, right.
Yeah, so he was approachable rather than like flamboyant or charismatic. He wasn't a fucking Michael Ironsides fucking chomping a pipe and fucking talking about the Japs. He's like, today we're gonna make an exercise that's gonna take us to the Strait of this.
Okay.
He belonged to a generation of naval officers shaped by institutional tradition and by the operational demands of global war. And by the final year of the Pacific conflict, captains carried extraordinary burdens, specifically cruisers like his, because he's got one of the largest loads of seamen in the entire Pacific.
He had a huge load of seamen.
Yes.
And he's responsible for that load.
Yeah, he's responsible not just for the load, but combat decisions and the welfare and morale of hundreds or thousands of personnel operating under continual threat. Yeah, so he's got 1,195 men on the ship. Right, there's a lot of fucking people.
That's a lot of seamen.
That's a lot of seamen. That's a huge load.
I mean, the cleanup on it alone.
Yes, you really got to swab the decks with that many seamen on board.
Mm-hmm.
Just squirming around, walking through the tight passages. Just the whole place is flooded with semen. Oh God, this is a serious topic.
Not a corner, not a square inch of that place not covered in semen.
There's just every room.
You look
just
this way, semen. This way, semen. That way, semen.
Packed full
Turn
of
around, semen.
Just packed full of semen.
Yeah, just
semen on the deck.
Just oozing out of that thing.
Semen below, semen in the bottom.
Just oozing out.
The Pacific Theater imposed particularly severe pressure on naval commanders. Japanese submarines, aircraft, mines, and suicide attacks created persistent danger even in periods lacking major fleet engagements.
That's a lot to consider. Got to protect your seamen.
So essentially, I mean, it's a very tense. We're going to stop seamen jokes for a little bit so I can get on with this topic.
Okay. Semen is stored in the U.S.S. Indianapolis.
At the bottom of the ship, in the bowels.
In the bowels of the ship.
Semen is stored in the bowels. So the Pacific Theater's like, it's fucking scary, man, because at any time, any moment, it could be like the most beautiful day out on the water or brutally hot. Mm-hmm. But then you just hear like, and fucking here comes 30 Japanese Zeros and they're fucking kamikaze pilots and they're gonna fucking crash into your shit. You're like, fuck, we gotta shoot these fuckers down before we die.
Is that a real thing that was like in every battle, or was that just really specifically Pearl Harbor?
Kamikaze pilots?
Yeah.
That is an interesting topic, actually, because essentially every Japanese pilot had the capability of becoming a kamikaze.
Right.
So if they, like in kamikaze attacks specifically, they had no intention of returning. Once you get off of land and into like the basic, like your water conflicts and your dogfights, nobody particularly doesn't want to make it back to the ship because their planes are valuable, the pilots are valuable. You know, it doesn't make sense to just throw your fucking, throw your load at the enemy and then just lose it, right? You don't want it to get swallowed. God damn it. So it would make more sense to engage in like air-to-air combat, but then return safely having defeated the enemy. But if things turn south or you're losing fuel or you're not going to make it back to the ship and you have the chance, then like the Japanese policy was like, well, then fucking you're the divine wind, use your life, right?
Right. Use your plane as a torpedo.
It's very much, it's your classic, like return with your shield or on it, like.
Yeah. So I know a big part of why that became like a talking point that we still have today is that with Pearl Harbor, it was a miscalculation. I mean, they had just enough fuel to get from the ship and back. And the anticipation was that it was going to be a real easy go there, bomb their entire fleet, come back, and then it turned into a longer engagement. And so most of those guys they weren't going to have the fuel to get back. So they were either going to end up midway between Pearl Harbor and their carrier and land in the ocean and die, or hey, this isn't going the way we wanted it to. These ships are firing back. We've got it ain't working out. So I'm not going to have fuel to get back anyway. Here we go.
Yeah, and then of course the Japanese policy. We talked about this on one of the Patreons, I believe. Like anybody that crashed in Hawaii and survived, like their next prerogative was to continue fighting.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you're still alive and you're on the island, it's not an escape thing because you're not fucking gonna get off there probably.
Well, that's why the last Japanese enemy combatant was like in the 70s.
Yeah.
He didn't even know the war had ended like 30 years earlier.
Yeah, you're not. It's
and
not
he
about
was still
escape. If you're
on
entrenched,
some island fighting.
If you're entrenched, you're entrenched. And if you're behind enemy lines, you're like, essentially your job behind enemy lines is to kill anything around you, like destroy every enemy piece of armament or personnel you can find until they kill you. So McVeigh, we're going back to McVeigh, right? So,
by the way, it was 1974, 29 years after World War II was over.
Yeah, the fuck's that guy's name?
Hiro Onada.
Hiro Onada. Yeah.
That's
we're going to cover him again at some point.
Yeah.
We've already talked about him a couple times, but
he lived on an island in the Philippines in the fucking jungle, and he had built like a little hut. He was just living out there, fucking.
I actually really want to read his book. He wrote a book after he came back.
Yeah,
pretty fascinating.
They had to send his former commander because he didn't believe that the war was over.
Yeah.
They had to get his former commander from Japan.
Who was like a florist or something at that time. He hadn't been at war for 20 years.
30 almost.
Yeah.
And they had to send him to the Philippines.
Old man.
Yeah, to send him to the Philippines to go into this jungle and be like,
Hero, cut the shit.
Bud, we surrendered.
Yeah.
It's done.
It's dramatic. I think at the beginning of Dan Carlin's Supernova in the East, he talks about Hiro Onada for an extended period.
Yeah.
And it's really good. Like, check that out, guys.
That whole
Dan
thing
Carlin's
is
hardcore
amazing.
history. His Supernova.
We have no
in the
business
East is so
even
good.
talking about World War II after that 30-something hours of in-depth coverage of World War II.
Well,
if you're a World War II nerd and you have not listened to all 5 parts, I think?
Fucking at
5
least,
or 6 parts of Supernova in the East by Dan Carlin's Hardcore
11
History.
hours or some shit.
30-something hours.
Yeah, a long time. But I mean, we listened to all of it working together on a couple of projects.
And then I listened to it separately because I was only in and out while we were working.
Well, Dan Carlin doesn't do one thing that we do. We bring the Peeny Vagini, which I feel like is a pretty important. We want to talk about semen and balls.
Peeny Vagini.
Is that Dan Carlin
That's
saying?
Dan Carlin.
If we ever can get Dan Carlin to actually
Peeny
say
Vagini.
Peeny Vagini, man, fuck that old dumbass bitch. If we could ever get him to say these
If I
things
could
for
get
us,
him to say, man, fuck that old dumbass bitch, I would never say it again.
We would plug it in like an awooga all the time.
Man, fuck that old dumbass bitch.
These are pretty good impersonations. Anyhow, okay, so let me get back to the goddamn point here. Okay, so the Pacific Theater is scary, all right? There's a lot of fucking submarines.
Yes.
There's a lot of airplanes.
Yes.
You could even land on a basic island, and those locals could have already been, could have sworn loyalty to the Japanese.
Absolutely.
Or the fucking Japanese could be entrenched somewhere waiting for you, which happened
Mm-hmm.
one of the cases on Iwo Jima is that there was a lot of fucking hiding in the jungles.
Right.
By the time Iwo Jima ended, the Japanese were hacking at the American soldiers with fucking katanas.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Yep.
But there it is, right? So it's a very scary fucking place to be.
You've also got locals on different islands that have sworn to both sides and are just as likely to welcome you as they are to kill you.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether you're Japanese or American.
The Pacific Theater is scary as shit, and that's all belied very heavily by the fact that it's quite beautiful out there. You know, for the most part, it's sunny skies and clouds and fucking
sunshine.
Sunshine. If you're at one of these islands, it's a tropical paradise that just might fucking kill you any moment.
Also, just miles and miles and miles of water in between everything.
Yeah.
Which is kind of scary too.
Yeah. Yeah. McVeigh's wartime record prior to what happens to the Indianapolis here shortly contains no indication that the Navy regarded him as unusually negligent or reckless. In fact, his assignment to command a major cruiser entrusted with sensitive missions suggests substantial institutional confidence. Nevertheless, following what would become the loss of the Indianapolis, McVeigh would become the central figure in one of the Navy's most controversial wartime prosecutions.
Okay.
But we'll get there.
Well, I know about the USS Indianapolis. I don't know what...
A lot of people do. It's for some reason it's pretty it's one of those common sort of World War II anecdotes.
Yeah, but it's not really... I don't know that it's very super well known.
I mean, there was I don't know. People always say some shit about it from some movie. So
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do know... I know what caused it to sink. I don't know about any potential negligence on Captain McVeigh.
McVeigh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
grandfather to Timothy.
No, I don't think it's MCVAY. I believe the Oklahoma City bomber.
VEIAGH.
Yeah. So before the outbreak of the Second World War, the Indianapolis participated in a lot of fleet exercises and diplomatic visits, ceremonial assignments. Among its most notable pre-war duties was the transportation of Franklin D. Roosevelt during official tours and inspections. Yeah, so he would they had a fucking presidential cabin on board, and they would take him around. But this was between wars, the interwar period.
Okay.
Such assignments reflected the dual military and symbolic roles performed by these major warships. If you ever see a fucking a big ass warship, I mean, we live right by Mayport,
yes.
right? So it's pretty easy to see one of these
all the time
popping up.
Yeah.
I work on the coast myself, so I'll see just fucking.
There's one you
big
can.
Military
There's
ships.
one you can go on and tour in downtown Jacksonville.
Yeah, I actually met one of the tour guides. One of the previous job.
I can't recall which.
The guy would not shut the fuck up about 20mm cannon or whatever.
I can't recall what the name of the ship is, but it's right there in downtown Jacksonville.
I mean, they're impressive. They're big, and a lot of the national identity around industrialized warfare up until fairly recently was based mostly around warships. Since in the Civil War with the Hunley and shit like that, water supremacy has been a massive part of the American military complex identity.
Yeah, well, before we had planes and shit.
Yeah. It is not so much these days symbolic as it used to be. Now we've got more fucking stealth bombers and shit like that. The fucking Blue Angels and yada yada.
But before aircraft, you got to think about it. Your options were boots on the ground or park outside of reach and just fucking
pretty much
artillery shit all over you.
Yeah. So it was a big ceremonial thing to have the president tour around the country or to other places on these ships.
Mm-hmm.
So then, because of that, when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor in December 1941, that hit the national identity really, really hard.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that isn't talked about very much. Our concept of the strength of the military was based around these ships.
Right.
Because they're very symbolic. They cut a striking figure. Even against the fucking skyline, when you see a military, you can tell a military ship. You can see the guns and shit like that. It's striking.
Yeah, they look at, dude, when you look at one up close, every time I see one up close, I expect it to just be a transformer.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? I expect it to just be
well, those
now it's like a badass robot.
The silhouette of those boats is on purpose. If you go to other countries, they have different silhouettes for their ships. They are not cut the same way.
Yeah.
Ours are very specific. I mean, that's for a couple of reasons. One, you want to be able to identify your own ship at a distance. But two, for our national identity, you'd be fucking.
It's a lot of hard angles.
Exactly.
And
yeah, big pointy shafts coming off of that shit. So the attack on Pearl Harbor transformed the strategic environment a lot. The United States rapidly mobilized its industrial and military resources for total war in the Pacific. So our national identity was split. The duality of World War II in America is commented on often, but it's also really fucking interesting. What would have been previously in World War I, our naval competence being supreme on the East Coast, whereas on the West Coast, essentially nobody saw shit.
Right.
It was whatever, it's California. Now it's on the California side, it's all seafaring warfare shit, and that's where that identity is. But then on the other side, it's all airplane travel and fucking big freighters taking the boys across the sea.
Right.
So it's all land war and yada yada, which is interesting. It's interesting to look at it like that. So once total war is declared in the Pacific, the Indianapolis becomes deeply involved in combat operations spanning thousands of miles.
Okay.
It's now this is has become what was for the interwar period a ceremonial kind of flagship.
Right.
Is now okay, this is one of our more important boats. We only have fucking two of them again. Throughout
at
the war,
beginning of World War II. By the end, it was however many I said earlier, 300 and something, I think.
Throughout the war, the cruiser participated in numerous campaigns, including operations in the Aleutian Islands, the Gilbert Islands, the Marshall Islands, and the Mariana Islands. The ship also supported operations at Iwo Jima and Okinawa. During these engagements, the vessel performed multiple functions, very typical of heavy cruisers and carrier-centered naval warfare. It escorted carrier task forces, screened against enemy aircraft and submarines, conducted bombardments against Japanese shore positions prior to amphibious landings. It's doing the war stuff.
Sure.
The Pacific War exposed sailors to conditions of exceptional intensity. Shore bombardments frequently lasted for hours or days.
Jesus.
With cruisers firing continuously against entrenched defensive positions and against the Japanese. They don't give up so easy. So it's like, if there's like 2 Japanese dudes, like you still don't have that island.
Because they're fucking fighting because they can't go back home.
But because of this, sailors saw some fucking pretty horrific shit, like entire Pacific islands burning.
Jesus.
Like, can you imagine?
No.
Can you imagine just looking at an idyllic tropical paradise ass island and then seeing the entire thing? And we're talking like one little green island in a full, vast blue expanse full of fucking animals and people and shit.
Yeah.
Just the whole fucking thing on fire.
Crazy.
It would be insane.
Yeah.
That would be an apocalyptic image, right?
That's not an image that you're ever going to forget.
No, at all. So like the Pacific campaign is really hard to fucking understand because you've never been there. You haven't done this.
Nope.
Like no one has done this since, you know?
Well, there's a few guys still knocking about that did.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, like they but even at the time, like you can watch movies and shit, but this is like the psychological toll of burning paradise is pretty fucking crazy.
I will say, apropos to our story here, every time in my life that I've seen like one of these old vets wearing a USS Indianapolis hat,
they're insane.
Those guys that have the hats of where they crewed. I literally want to walk up and be like, where, how, when were you there? Like, you know what I mean? Like, are you one of the guys?
Tell me an anecdote.
Yeah, no, but you don't. I mean, you can't. Like,
is that your real
crazy.
leg? So yeah, like there's just fucking a bunch of crazy PTSD shit that comes out of these conflicts. If you've ever seen The Thin Red Line, my personal favorite Pacific War movie.
You're talking about shell shock.
Yes, shell shock.
We didn't know shit about
shell
PTSD.
shock was a big dick fucking term.
Yeah.
He came back, he had shell shock.
Yeah.
That's cool. A man has shell shock.
Yeah, that means that you've
seen some shit.
A little crazy,
Dude.
fucked up guy.
You are fucked is what it means.
Yeah. Don't slam the car door when this guy's around.
You know, so yeah, it's just like fucking, they just saw a lot of aerial combat and like bodies falling out of the fucking sky or airplanes crashing into ships.
Yeah.
Fucking people on fire. There's a lot of fuel involved in these fucking fights and there's nowhere to go, which is a big part of this story. Something happens to your
down.
ship, you're fucked.
Straight down.
And like everyone has to think of that all the time.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah. The cumulative psychological effect of prolonged combat service was substantial, particularly by the later years of the war, when many crews had participated in nearly continuous operations since 1942. So 3 solid years of like, we can die at any second.
Yeah.
Right? There will be very little warning. And
that's an anxiety level that doesn't seem sustainable.
In March 1945, the Indianapolis sustained serious damage during operations near Okinawa when struck by a Japanese kamikaze aircraft.
Okay.
The attack killed several crewmen, so like 9 people, I think, and inflicted major structural damage requiring repairs at the Mare Island Naval Shipyard. Repair crews restored the vessel to operational condition over the subsequent months. Once repairs were complete, the Navy assigned the cruiser to what would become its final and most historically significant mission. This is a very important period. If they hadn't been struck by the kamikazes, they would probably still have been entrenched in war, just varying areas, and another ship would have been assigned to this.
Okay.
But since this was already at rest, there was time to deliver things to the ship in order to make this final mission, and enough time to plan the whole thing, essentially. Also, the fact that it was removed from war, nobody was expecting it anywhere. So they were like, hey, this is kind of the perfect ship for a secret mission.
Oh.
In July 1945.
Secret seaman.
Yeah, secret seaman. Got to slip them in.
Never know when it's going to hit.
Through the cracks. In July 1945, the Annapolis received orders associated with the highly secret atomic bomb program. The United States had invested enormous resources into the development of nuclear weapons throughout the Manhattan Project.
I think you meant to say nuclear. Nuclear
weapons. So they poured like huge resources into the Manhattan Project, though only a small number of military personnel possessed knowledge of the project. It was a big secret. It was a secret even from the secret seaman. The cruiser was tasked with transporting critical components related to the atomic bomb intended for use against Japan. These materials included enriched uranium, and associated equipment required for bomb assembly.
Jesus Christ.
The cargo was transported from San Francisco to Tinian, the island serving as a major American air base for strategic bombing operations against the Japanese homeland. Were you going to say something?
I was just transporting enriched uranium in the 1940s. I just wonder, like, it was probably like in crates.
I believe
all the guys in their overalls down below deck are just carrying crates.
I believe what they did actually is
uranium.
What they did was weld it like in lead casings, and then they take the lead casing and they put it into like a steel component and then weld it to the interior of the ship so that if the ship went down, there wouldn't be fucking uranium floating all over the place.
Jesus.
I believe if you put raw, like enriched uranium into the ocean, it will boil continuously and kill a lot of stuff.
Everything is going to die.
I think that would create a long big time. Fuck dead zone. Yeah.
It would still be a dead zone now.
Yes. The mission was conducted under substantial secrecy. Many members of the crew remained unaware of the nature or significance of the cargo they carried. The Indianapolis completed the voyage with remarkable speed. Like, they fucking did it.
Yeah.
Reportedly establishing records for portions of the transit. Upon arrival at Tinian, the materials were unloaded for final preparations and assembly of the weapon later used against Hiroshima.
Okay.
After delivering the cargo, the cruiser received orders directing it toward Leyte Gulf for further operations and training. By this stage of the war, the American leadership anticipated eventual Japanese defeat. I mean, because they're like, yeah, we're putting the bomb together. We're going to fuck these guys real hard in their ass.
Well, but I mean, we were beating them pretty soundly before we dropped the bombs.
Yeah, I mean,
they were done before we
talked
dropped
before about how the bombs at Hiroshima and Nagasaki were largely symbolic.
Very much so.
Yeah, but combat remained dangerous. Japanese submarines continued to operate throughout Pacific waters despite the collapse of much of Japan's naval power. Among these submarines was the Japanese submarine I-58, commanded by Mokitsura Hashimoto.
Okay.
And on the night of July 30th, 1945, the paths of the submarine and the cruiser intersected.
Do you want me to say his name?
Sea.
Do you want me to say his name?
No, thank you.
Okay.
We're going to be serious now.
Okay.
Okay, go for it.
What was his name again?
Machitsuru?
No, that's not what.
Mochitsura. Machitsura.
Machitsura.
Hashimoto.
Hashimoto.
There you go. Thank you very much.
Machitsura Hashimoto.
An interesting detail about this, right, is that so the cruisers almost always have an entourage, right? Entourages are fairly noisy, so they don't usually worry about stealth that much.
Okay.
On this particular occasion.
On this
particular occasion, the Indianapolis is traveling solo. Right? So, as much as they're trying to be quiet, this ship is not designed for stealth.
Right.
And I-58 picks up on their sonar a clinkety-clackety noise.
Okay.
They're like, what the fuck is that? Like from like six miles away. Turned out to be the dishes in the mess hall.
Jesus Christ.
Yes. That's what gave them away.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Shortly after midnight on July 30th, the Indianapolis proceeded through relatively calm waters without escort. Conditions of visibility and submarine threat assessment influenced the decision regarding whether the cruiser would zigzag, which is a maneuver commonly employed to complicate enemy torpedo targeting, or go in a straight line to speed themselves along.
Right.
Under the assumption that they were not engaged in anything actively combative, the weakened Japanese military forces in the area, nearing the end of the war, things started to chill out a little bit where they are at, and the fact that they hadn't been in a conflict in months at this point, they decided, hey, we're just going to go straight back to where we're supposed to be.
Going for speed.
He's going for speed. Yes. Going the distance. This, I would equate.
He's not all alone.
I would equate this to.
He's got literal tons of semen with him.
I would equate this to the sand walking in Dune. Like you fucking zigzag, go, little steps so it doesn't sound like anything. But the Japanese submarine hearing just the whom of engines going straight and the clink of the dishes is like, oh, these motherfuckers, they are not expecting our shit at all.
Right.
Commander Hashimoto detected the cruiser prepared an attack. Torpedoes launched from the submarine struck the Indianapolis with devastating effect. One impacted near the bow, where another detonated in proximity to fuel and ammunition storage areas. The explosions caused catastrophic flooding and structural damage almost immediately.
Yeah, fucked.
Oh, super fucked, dude. Initially, immediately fucked. Survivor testimony consistently described scenes of chaos and destruction within the ship. Compartments flooded rapidly, fires erupted, power systems failed. Men were trapped below deck as passageways collapsed or filled with water.
Yeah, a lot of
in
guys,
the fucking dark.
A lot of guys never made it off the ship.
Some sailors were killed instantly by blast effects, while others perished attempting to escape darkened compartments as the vessel rolled and sank beneath them. This is we're asleep. It's around midnight.
Yeah.
Fuck it. They got a little night watch, but you're never going to see a submarine at night. The fuck? They're under the water. It's crazy.
I don't know. I'm sure you have it in your notes here. I don't know how many men made it off the ship. I heard 400 somewhere.
Out of 1,195 men, roughly 900 make it into the water. Right? Communication failures compounded the disaster. Although distress messages may have been transmitted, they were either incomplete, misinterpreted, or ignored, and wartime communications traffic was already heavy, and as a result, no immediate rescue response occurred. In this particular event, not only did nobody know where the fuck they were, because they were on a secret stealth mission.
Right.
When they departed Late Island, they made the decision to just keep going back to where they were supposed to go instead of doing the zigzags, which accelerated their course by several days.
They weren't talking about pleasure boating or day sailing. They were talking about working for a living.
Exactly. Yeah, they're just fucking going.
Talking about sharking.
Yeah, sharking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess. So with these communication failures, fucking, it's important to note that they would also have been using another frequency than most of the fleet for communication, right? One that wouldn't be monitored very heavily because it was for secret communications.
I got you.
So if they blasted out a distress signal, it was probably completely ignored, right? And here's something very important to note. You know how long it took to sink this motherfucker?
How long?
12 minutes.
Jesus.
12 minutes from being asleep in your bunk to floating in the ocean if you survived.
If you made it out of the,
The Indianapolis sank in approximately 12 minutes, which is an extraordinarily rapid loss for a ship of its size. Roughly 300 men died during the attack and the sinking itself, and the remaining survivors entered the water under desperate circumstances. Many lacked adequate flotation equipment, and available lifeboats or rafts proved insufficient for the number of men still alive. Approximately 900 sailors ultimately remained adrift in the Philippine Sea.
You think they needed a bigger boat?
I don't think a bigger boat would have helped much.
No.
I mean, like, it was already a pretty fucking big boat.
Okay.
It's a big-ass boat. They had 1,100 men on there. Maybe a smaller boat would have been better.
I don't know.
I mean, at the time, yes, they needed a boat. Like, that's for sure. Fuck. The ordeal faced by the survivors of the Indianapolis ranks among the most severe survival episodes in modern naval history. The men who escaped the sinking entered an environment that quickly became lethal through a combination of exposure, dehydration, injury, exhaustion, and predation. The survivors floated...
Predation.
Predation.
It's a good word.
It is. It's a good one. The survivors floated in scattered groups across open ocean water with no immediate indication that rescue efforts were underway. It was fucking nighttime, too. The light that they had to find each other
was the
up on the
moon.
sinking was at first just the burning ship. But again, that bitch sank in 12 minutes.
Yeah.
So, nyang. Think about being blinded by explosions and fire, and then all of a sudden it's gone. And now you're floating, and it's pitch fucking black.
That's wild.
Right? And all you hear is like, ah! Yeah.
I'm trying to put myself in that situation. Would I swim toward the... Yes, I would. I would swim toward that.
Yeah. Well, because there's nothing else to fucking swim to. It's like during daylight hours, they endured intense tropical heat and direct sunlight. But at night, temperatures dropped sharply and darkness intensified fear and disorientation.
Mm-hmm.
Fuel oil from the sinking vessel coated many survivors.
That's
causing
right.
irritation to skin and eyes while contaminating the surrounding water.
Yeah.
Not just to mention that a lot of the survivors are burned.
Yeah.
Because so much shit was exploding.
And a lot of that water on the surface stayed on fire because fuel floats on water and will stay on fire.
Like fucking nightmare. Just absolute nightmare. Freshwater rapidly became the central problem. Human beings exposed to tropical sun and salt water lose fluid at an accelerated rate.
Yep.
Obviously, salt dehydrates.
Yep.
Without access to drinkable water, dehydration produces weakness, confusion, hallucinations, and ultimately organ failure.
Yeah.
So, like, a lot of the problems that are going to happen here are going to happen through delusion.
Also, after I don't give a shit who you are, after a day of sun exposure out there and no fresh water, like you're gonna drink ocean water.
I think about situations like this a lot, and
even if you know not to drink ocean water, you're gonna drink ocean water. You know what that does?
It makes you poop.
Causes you to shit uncontrollably.
Yes.
Which further dehydrates you.
Further dehydrates you and may bring things that come in the water.
Maybe.
Well, yeah, fucking bacteria, shrimp, things like that. Feeding fish. Just feeding fish.
Just shrimp just flying up your booty hole.
Up your butt. Shrimp up the butt.
This month at Red Lobster.
God damn it. I was just going to say something. Well, it's like, fuck, I totally forgot. I lost my whole train of thought.
The Red Lobster thing.
Thank you guys very much for tuning in. This has been Delete Everything. Many sailors attempted to resist.
Do you have a butt? Good, I'm sorry.
Shrimp up the booty.
$9.99 all month at Red Lobster.
Many sailors attempted to resist drinking seawater because of prior survival training, but thirst eventually drove some to consume it anyway. Saltwater consumption worsened dehydration and frequently accelerated mental collapse.
Yep.
Survivor accounts repeatedly describe hallucinations developing after prolonged exposure.
Mm-hmm.
Men reported seeing islands that did not exist, imagining rescue ships on the horizon, or believing they could perceive freshwater sources nearby. Some survivors swam away from the main group while pursuing these hallucinations and disappeared permanently. Others engaged in irrational conversations or displayed increasingly erratic behavior.
Jesus.
One survivor account talked about a man on, I believe, the second day that insisted that the Indianapolis was not far below the water and that it still had a freshwater tank and that he had been down there to drink from the water fountain. And he enticed several men to go below the water with him, and they never came back. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Like, come on, there's fresh water down there, boys. And they're like, yeah, fresh water. And
I drank it.
They dive deep and they're gone.
I don't even know how to process that. What the fuck?
Aside from what becomes the main problem of their ocean-bound captivity, I guess you could say.
Trial, I think, is what we used last week.
Good, yeah.
It's kind of funny. We did a survival story last week, and this is a survival story.
This is definitely a survival story. It's a not so survival story in a lot of cases.
We could have done this as a survival story.
Damn near every case. It's a not so survival story. But yeah, the madness inherent is with ocean dementia. Yeah. Aqua dementia. Actually, is a Mastodon song. Yeah. It's a fucking dope ass.
Isn't that the what's the album name?
That's Leviathan.
Leviathan,
right?
Right.
So like the whole last end cap is like Aqua Dementia into Joseph Merrick, I think, and it's fucking sick. And I saw them live, and the whole Aqua Dementia sequence, they're on the stage, and the whole display behind them is a fucking sinking ship. And it's like in a storm, and then it goes down, and it follows it all like out of the bottom. And they're like on the bow of the ship while it's sinking in the storm. It's fucking dope.
That's cool. I hate you.
Listen to Aqua Dementia. Yeah, you'll never see anything like that.
I know. Damn. Fuck. God damn it. I thought there was time.
R.I.P. Bright
There
Parents.
was time now.
R.I.P. There was time.
There was time now.
Fair.
It's not fair.
R.I.P. Brent.
Brent
one
Hines.
reoccurring theme in testimony involves the gradual disintegration of organized social behavior under extreme conditions. Initially, survivors clustered together for mutual support and protection. Men prayed together, encouraged one another, and attempted to maintain discipline. Over time, however, exhaustion and dehydration undermined psychological stability. Arguments erupted over whatever supplies or imagined supplies or non-existent rescue opportunities were going to come.
Okay.
Some sailors became detached and apathetic, while others entered states of panic or delirium. The shark attacks associated with the Indianapolis became the most famous aspect of the disaster.
Yes.
Though later popular portrayals sometimes exaggerated or simplified the nature of the attacks themselves. Sharks unquestionably attacked survivors during the ordeal, but the precise number of fatalities attributed directly to sharks remains impossible to determine, because many men also died from exposure, dehydration, drowning, or injuries sustained during the sinking. What is known is that hundreds of men were killed by shark attacks in this.
Which is crazy.
900 men floating in the water out of the 1,100.
Uh-huh.
The swarming of the sharks started pretty quick by testimony.
Yeah.
You get about a half hour.
And they're all pissing and shitting and bleeding.
Exactly. And there's blood in the water.
Mm-hmm.
It took about a half hour before anybody really noticed that sharks were tailing them. And then bit by bit, minute by minute, the attacks increased. I think the average was 6 men an hour
God.
were being attacked by sharks.
One every 10 minutes.
Yes. Marine biologists and historians generally believe the principal species involved were the oceanic white-tip shark and the tiger shark, which if anyone knows about tiger sharks, they are particularly aggressive.
And they'll eat anything.
Yes. Of these, the oceanic white-tip is especially significant because it inhabits deep offshore waters and has historically been associated with attacks on shipwreck survivors. So this kind of falls into the pantheon of the great legends of the fucking deep. I always think of like wooden ships and sailing ships that like go down, like the fear of the shark attack. Like this is something that has been repeated through history a lot, but this is the biggest instance of it ever.
Yeah.
Right? Unlike some coastal shark species, oceanic whitetips are adapted to roaming vast stretches of open ocean where food sources are comparatively rare and opportunistic. So opportunistic feeding behavior is very advantageous.
So you've got two species of sharks that will pretty much eat anything.
Yes, exactly. You have the very aggressive and combative tiger and the very opportunistic whitetip.
Right.
You could think of this in terms of like
whereas
tigers and jackals.
Yeah. So whereas most sharks won't prey on people, and even like a lot of times, on the shoreline, like we live on one of the most active shark bite coasts in the world. If I think the most active shark bite shoreline in the world.
Outside of like the Ivory Coast, yeah.
No, I think we have the most active. We don't have fatalities because
just little nips.
Yeah, it's
little blips and bloops.
Exploratory bites. Right. And then they go, oh, gross. That tastes like shit.
Ick. It's a gross ass foot.
I mean, if you've been eating fish your entire life, this is how I equate it. If the only thing I've ever had in my life is fish, and then I take my first bite of steak, I'm probably gonna be like, oh, what the fuck is that? Doesn't mean steak's not delicious. It just means I'm like, yo, what, huh?
This isn't tuna.
This is wild. Or maybe a better comparison for raw reasons. If all I've eaten is sashimi my whole life,
right,
and then I try beef tartare, I might be like, oh, what the fuck?
It's very interesting and significant, these types of shark, because this far off of land in the open ocean, it's the open ocean is bountiful, but it's not so bountiful that you're just fucking glorping down food all the time.
No, the shoreline is where everything is.
So deep water sharks are quick, they're aggressive, and they hunt. Like, they hunt.
Yeah.
Right? Over miles. They will smell blood in the water from miles away. Yeah. Right? The sinking created conditions highly likely to attract sharks. The water contained blood, human remains, fuel, debris, and continuous splashing from survivors struggling to remain afloat.
Jesus.
Many survivor accounts describe dorsal fins circling nearby groups for extended periods before attacks occurred. In some instances, sailors vanished suddenly after brief struggles beneath the water. In others, survivors witnessed attacks on injured or isolated men drifting apart from the main cluster. Several eyewitnesses later recalled that the psychological effect of the sharks exceeded even the attacks themselves. The constant awareness of predators beneath the surface produced sustained terror and prevented meaningful rest. Survivors frequently attempted to minimize splashing because sudden movement appeared to provoke the shark.
Dude, I'm listening to this story and I'm terrified.
It's scarier than
I'm not even scared of sharks.
You just hear this just fucking like just kind of a fucking scary background music, like just fucking like strings.
Yeah. I'm not even terrified. I'm not even scared of sharks, and this is a terrifying story.
Yeah, me neither. Like I have no problem getting back in the water at any point. Yeah.
We live in coastal Florida. We see them all the time. I've seen so many fucking sharks.
I mean, I stopped at the ocean yesterday, and tomorrow I'll assume it's safe to get back in the water.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Several eyewitnesses, talking about the psychological effects, mentioned that nighttime intensified this fear dramatically, as men could hear splashing or hear the screams in the darkness without being able to see what was occurring nearby.
Oh my God.
One survivor later summarized the experience simply by stating that the sharks were there all the time. That observation captures the persistent nature of the threat, and the attacks were not continuous feeding frenzies.
Where else are they going to go?
Right? Yeah. But even if they
don't clock out and go home.
Say that all the sharks around had their fill and they fuck off for a little bit. Like, you wouldn't know that.
That's true.
They're always there.
The one thing I've noticed about fish is that there is no had their fill.
Right.
Which is the reason why if you have a fish tank at home, you can overfeed them and they'll die.
Yep.
I don't think they feel full. They're just like food.
These attacks weren't continuous feeding frenzies, but they were recurring episodes of violence punctuating long periods of dread and uncertainty. So you could go an hour just like, fuck, we've got nothing to do. We're just floating here. And then, the guy next to you just,
oh my God.
Fuck. It's so scary, dude. It is so much scarier than any
insane.
I think of like that movie Deep Water, where it's like, yeah, they were afraid of sharks. There's sharks walking with them. But that's just 2 people in that movie. But imagine if there were 900 and just every 6 minutes somebody else.
Nope. I don't like it.
Bodies of dead sailors also remained in the water for extended periods, attracting scavenging from sharks or crabs or whatever other kinds of fish. Barracuda in many instances are popping up.
They're worse.
Historians note that this contributed significantly to survivor perception because men often witnessed sharks feeding nearby even when the attacks on living sailors were not actively occurring. So it doesn't matter even if nobody is getting eaten per se, nobody knew is getting eaten. There's still several sharks. A pot
of fish comes through, pot of fish comes through and they go, oh shit, yeah, let's go over there.
The combination of predation, decomposition, dehydration, helplessness all produced an environment of extreme psychological trauma.
Yeah.
One of the most disturbing aspects of the Indianapolis disaster was the Navy just initially failed to recognize that the ship was missing. Administrative and communication failures meant that the cruiser's failure to arrive at its destination did not immediately trigger a large-scale search effort. As a result, survivors remained adrift for nearly 5 days.
Holy fuck.
Before discovery occurred largely by chance. So let's just take a good look at this story. Let's compile it, okay?
Yes.
Japanese submarine slams 2 torpedoes into the hull of the Indianapolis on the way back from Tinian to the island of Leyte. They just delivered the components for the bomb that would be dropped on Hiroshima. 900 men went into the water out of a crew more than 1,100. Vessel went down in 12 minutes. They didn't see any sharks at first. Took around half an hour before they noticed the first shark. Tiger. Probably a 13-footer. You know how you know that in the water? Chiefly, you can tell by looking from the dorsal fin to the tail. What the men didn't know was that their bomb mission was so secret that either no distress signal was sent or it was sent on a channel that wasn't being actively searched. And they wouldn't even be listed as missing for days. At first light, sharks start cruising by, so the men form themselves into these tight groups and pretty standard maritime combat configurations, which would have been their training. The idea was the shark would get near the closest man, and men would all start slapping the water, yelling to scare the shark off, and sometimes that shark went away. Sometimes he wouldn't go away. Sometimes that shark looks right at you, right into your eyes. And the thing about a shark is he's got these lifeless eyes, black eyes, like a doll's eyes. He doesn't even look alive when he comes up to you, till he bites you. Those black eyes roll over white, then you hear the screaming. Terrible, high-pitched screaming. Inhuman, you wouldn't even know it was coming from you. And the ocean billows red, and despite all your pounding and screaming, the sharks come. They rip you to pieces. 1,100 men went into the water, 316 came out. Sharks took the rest. July the 30th, 1945. Anyway, they delivered the bomb components, which was one of the most consequential operations of the war. Rescue began on August 2nd, 1945. A patrol aircraft piloted by Wilbur Gwynn spotted oil slicks and men floating in the water. The crew quickly realized they'd encountered survivors from a major naval disaster. Emergency rescue operations commenced immediately.
You know what?
Huh.
If I had been there.
You'd have gotten eaten by a fucking shark.
Nope. I would have found him for 3, but I'll catch him and kill him for 10.
So the aircraft dropped life rafts, flotation devices, and supplies to the survivors, and one of the most celebrated rescue actions involved Lieutenant Adrian Marks, played by Tom Jane in the movie.
Really?
Yeah, the movie's got Nick Cage, Tom Jane, Tom Sizemore.
Oh, yes, in that movie.
What other movie would you be talking about?
I don't know.
Okay. He landed a seaplane directly on the ocean despite dangerous conditions. Because the number of survivors exceeded the plane's capacity, rescued sailors were strapped to the wings and exterior surfaces of the aircraft while awaiting additional rescue ships. Destroyers and other vessels converged in the area over subsequent hours, and by the conclusion of rescue operations, only 316 men remained alive out of a crew of approximately 1,195. The scale of the loss shocked the Navy and the American public alike.
It shocked me.
Yeah, it's fucking scary shit,
I'm fucking
dude.
shocked.
It's just scarier than piss. I don't want to be in no fucking ocean with
some of the
sharks.
some of the guys had flotations and stuff.
Some of them had flotations. There were some small raft-like structures, things of that nature.
I wonder if they like. This is gonna sound crazy, because if I was one of the ones, like say there's a couple of boats that the rescue boats that fall into the water, you manage to get to. And you're the first one to grab one, and you're inside the boat, right?
Yeah.
You're watching other crewmen get picked off by fucking sharks over the course of 5 fucking days.
Right.
You've probably got as many fucking hands as can grab the edge of that fucking raft.
Yeah.
As you know.
Well, there's the thing,
there
too.
is space for hands.
When you're being bitten by a shark, you try and get on the fucking boat, right?
Yeah.
Which is so like.
But like, do you think how many arguments do you think there were about like
arguments?
You get out of the boat and let me in the boat for 30 minutes, and then somebody else will get in the boat, and then I get out the boat.
I mean, constant, unceasing.
And if you're in the boat, how amenable are you to that fucking argument? Nope, I found the boat. I'm in the boat. Sorry.
In some of this research, it is very, very clear that as much as the initial day, maybe 5-6 hours, was focused on, everyone was very soldierly, like we're all in this together. We're going to survive this. Let's get this together.
Yeah. Put the major on the boat. He's a high ranking officer. Yeah.
By midday of that first day, they're not fucking friends anymore.
Kill the major. I want on the boat.
Yeah. Now it's why the fuck would you be on the raft?
Yeah.
Why not me? It's, hey, why do you get, because like they found some supplies, but it'd be like soggy crackers.
Yeah.
There was almost no fresh water whatsoever. So think of 900 men and about 10 people's worth of fresh water.
If I'm the first one to grab the raft and get on it, I'm going to let everybody know, hey, as many of you can get on here, go ahead. The rest of you grab on so we stay together. But if somebody suggests you get out of the boat after I've watched however many people get picked off by fucking sharks, and somebody goes, you get off the boat, let me have a turn.
Yeah.
Fuck no.
There are consistent reports of somebody being bitten and trying to scramble their way back to the raft, and everyone else holding onto the raft pushing them away because they're bleeding and they're going to attract the fucking sharks. So
that's what I would do too.
Yeah. There's one man, I don't have his name here, but he got pulled down by the hand. Like he was actually on a raft.
Oh my God.
His hand was over, and a fucking shark came out of the water and grabbed his hand, dragged him down,
pulled him out of the fucking raft,
fucked him up, and he is swimming back up to get onto back to the raft. His place has already been taken, and everyone's like, "Get the fuck away from us!" And he ended up surviving.
Did he really?
But like he had to punch the fuck out of people to get back into his spot. Like he didn't even get back on the raft just to grab the edge of the raft and stay there. He had to start fighting his own crewmen.
How many times are you gonna get punched with a bloody nub before you're like, oh,
exactly.
God, stop?
Like it's all about the savagery of survival. Like the fucking, he's got to be, he got away from the shark by beating the shit out of it. He literally, this guy reached into the shark's fucking gills.
Yeah.
And like,
that's how you do it.
Yeah. And got away from the shark. And then he got back up and they were like, no, get away from us. We're going to break the shark. Yeah. And he's just fucking beating the shit out of people.
I throw you guys off a raft to survive.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I love you now.
I personally, I sink in the first 20 minutes. I'll be like, well, it's been a good run. Blah, 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 blah.
I think it's funny when I hear people, like, again, I don't have a fear of sharks. I recognize I go in the water all the time. I recognize that, look, I'm in their house. So,
yeah.
we
talk about this all the time. I don't have an innate fear of anything.
But same. But I think it's funny when people are like, yeah, well, you just fucking grab them by their gills and start ripping. And I'm like, you are a human in water. However good you think you are out there, once a shark grabs you and starts fucking doing whatever it's doing, they normally grab and then shake back and forth because you've seen sharks' teeth. Yeah, they've got the serrated fucking teeth. Yeah, where's that shark's tooth I found?
They don't have fucking what are the articulated jaws, so they just have to use it as a saw.
Yeah, and so what do you're going to be so fucking disoriented? One, from getting hit in the first place. Two, from being shaken around and having chunks of your body ripped off. You think you're just going to be like, oh, the gills, yeah, and reach over. No, you're going to fucking
die. You're going
to be like, oh God, what's happening? And then, yeah, that's that.
Yeah, the fucking nightmare.
So that guy's a badass.
Yeah, there are multiple accounts.
But only really because he got grabbed by the hand. I think you have more, I feel like if you get grabbed by the leg or the torso, you can't maneuver as well.
Badass. Yeah, fucking look.
If you get grabbed by the hand, you have maneuverability to some degree. If you get grabbed by like the thigh, you're wherever that shark wants you is where you're going, and you're just kind of ragdolling around. Or by the torso, Jesus, by the torso, you're just fucked.
This guy's name was Cozell Smith.
Yeah,
he suffered severe injuries to his left hand. Reportedly managed to fight the shark off and survive the ordeal. Later, he was photographed. Ordeal. You
said the ideal.
Survived the ordeal. He lived.
Yes. Like I said, if you get grabbed by the hand or even by the ankle, I think you have more maneuverability to actually do something about it.
Yeah.
Anything else, you're pretty much at the mercy of.
But I just think it's important to note that, like,
and then it just depends what the size of the fucking shark that grabbed you is.
Despite the title Men of Valor, there is quite a breakdown in societal norms when you're being eaten by fucking sharks.
I don't think that can be helped. I don't care how.
There's nothing that can be helped.
I don't care how stalwart of a person you are. I don't care how much you care about society and the rules and this and that.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck who you are in that situation. That all goes out the fucking window.
I find that I mentioned this in like way earlier episode.
Just look at the things that people will do in a survival situation.
That oftentimes shows like the most horrific stuff.
It is the worst possible scenario.
Look at Matt Damon in The Martian. No, not The Martian. Interstellar.
And
the other one.
Is that Matt Damon too?
Matt Damon's the bad guy.
Oh, okay.
Spoilers for Interstellar.
Never saw it.
They go to meet him. He's got a fucking
MEET or MEAT?
They go to meet Matt. Meet him real good. No, so he's an astronaut. He's like the hero astronaut in these expeditions. And this secondary expedition is going to meet him where he is sent a confirmation that the planet that he's on is habitable for human life so he can sustain the dying Earth. And they show up. Turns out, no, he just sent that so somebody'd show up so he could kill them and take their fucking ship and get off of this rock.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
This is spoiler alert. This is a good movie, though.
But yeah, you look at just any survival story. We've done a couple. I think the first survival stories that we did 3 different stories. The one that we did last week was just one because it was so fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, even looking at like last week, one would assume 10 days before she was found by anybody, 11 days before she was transported to actual civilization. And we said at the end of the episode, she was eating those maggots that were coming out of her arm.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, you got to do something.
You had to.
You got to do something.
You need something.
Yeah.
She had a bag of candy that lasted about 2 days.
Survival's a brutal mistress.
You just do whatever. Our brains are wired to survive.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes. And when you get cast into that situation, all the auspices of like, ooh, this is how things are supposed to be. Fuck that.
I know that the survival instinct for humans is very, very strong. I also have a strong survival instinct.
Yeah.
You saw me though when I thought a fucking alligator was coming at me in the fucking springs.
That's right.
So
oh my
get
God.
the fuck out of there.
I've never seen a look of terror on Riley's face.
Imagine that, but everybody else thinks it's an alligator too, and we're all in the middle of the fucking ocean, and it's a shark.
I know that we told this story. It's got to have been at least a year plus.
Yeah.
We had a big group that we all went down to one of the natural springs here in Central Florida, and I have a giant raft. I mean, it's huge, and most of us are, kind of lounge on the raft. There's like seating. There's like an area you can lay out and get sun.
Dude, Charlie was with us that day.
I believe so. Yeah. I think we had all the kids there. Yeah. Like Asher was there. I think. Yeah. We had some people who have kids all came. It's a big group. Probably about 10 of us.
Something like that. Yeah.
But those of us, like Riley and myself, that are like, swim around. So we'd hop off the raft and swim around and we're just floating down a river, and then periodically you get to these like really beautiful, clear natural springs. And so we're like swimming around and whatever. Well, suddenly I was up on the raft, Riley's swimming, and I see Riley just start thrashing back toward the raft. No, and I look.
You pointed at Riley.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I saw an alligator head coming toward Riley, and I was like, Riley. And he fucking looked at it, clocked it, and just like fucking beeline, like thrashed over the raft.
I'm not the fastest swimmer, but I was
You got there quick. He got there. He was already halfway up the raft before we realized It was just some fucking asshole little kid with a fucking basically a remote control boat that's shaped like an alligator head.
Fucking little fuckers.
And they're on the shoreline.
I think about that all the time, and I think like we should have pulled over, and I should have beat the shit out of that.
Kid was like 12.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great time to learn not to do dumb shit like that.
I'm pretty sure we were like, you fucking asshole, like from the raft.
Should have fucking hit him with a beer. That kid would have just been like, thanks for the beer, asshole.
He would have fucking grabbed it out of the air, opened it up, and shotgunned it in your face.
Well, it would have been really fun, actually, if we had pulled into the next spring and I had immediately just run down from that spring and show up behind them. Like, hi! It would have been a good, like the reverse of the alligator thing.
It was like terrifying. Like I was over, like ready to grab Riley and pull his ass up onto the fucking raft. And he was like, straight to the fucking raft. And then I was like, oh my fucking God, these kids are like on the shoreline cackling.
Little bastards.
And I was like,
hope those fucking kids are dead now.
It's, oh my God. and I was like, it's a fucking remote control boat, dude. And we're like, fuck you, you little shit. And then we had another beer and kept going.
Yeah, that was fun.
I'm pretty sure I had
was a good
been
day.
eating mushrooms. They almost fucked my shit up.
Hey, you're like, alligators everywhere. Which there are.
There are. And you see them.
Anyway. Okay.
You know what's crazier out there? I will say this.
Snakes.
Yeah, if you get a paddleboard and go down there, like it's crazy what you can't see when you're on a raft.
Oh, yeah, when you're paddling, you can see fucking
everything. When you're standing up on a paddleboard, the number of snakes that I see just do. And I'm like, holy fuck.
Yeah, well, a lot of them are fine. Some of them are very deadly.
I don't care.
Whatever.
I've been going out there forever.
It's
I've never had even
What are you going to die?
even a close altercation.
See, this is what I was going to say. I understand that everybody's
Other than telling those people not to be so goddamn close to that rattlesnake that we saw.
One guy
that was the same trip, wasn't it?
Yeah. And there was one guy who was like, that's like that's a good snake. Should you fucking pussies. Like, yeah, whatever, asshole.
Yeah, no, that's a 5-foot rattlesnake coiled up with people getting within like a foot and a half of it to take pictures.
Little abuela, just like, oh, look at this thing.
Yeah, there was like a little Spanish lady like right next to it taking a picture. I'm like, get back a little bit because that fucker has a 5-foot striking distance.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is like, I understand everyone has a survival instinct. I also have a survival instinct if I intend to survive. But I feel like after about an hour in that water, I'm just going to be like, you know what? I don't think I want to do this one. This doesn't look good. Goodbye. Bloop, 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 bloop. See if I can drown before a fucking shark eats me.
I don't know. You can't self-drown.
You can.
I don't think so.
You go,
yeah. And then your body naturally propels itself upwards so that you can get to...
You know how you self-drown? You just swim as far as you can down.
And don't start swimming back until you're done.
So you're like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done this. I'm an idiot.
I don't know, man. I think your brain fucking does something where it's like, no, start going now.
Yeah,
and
whatever.
Then you have to fight that.
It's that Elliott Smith syndrome. It's like, he couldn't have done that. Nobody stabs themselves in the heart.
Oh, that's right. That's how I was going to say he didn't drown himself, did he?
You know the whole conspiracy Elliott Smith thing where like he fucking died from 2 stab wounds to his heart? Just apparently self-inflicted, but there were no hesitation wounds or anything.
So emo,
dude. They couldn't have just done more heroin. That would have fucking probably handled it.
Couldn't have like procured a gun. We live in America. They're
Jesus
everywhere.
Christ. Anyway, moving forward. Public reaction to the sinking focused quickly on issues of accountability. Questions emerged.
What?
How did the boat sink? That was a good boat. That was a perfectly good boat.
I just feel like that's a really hard thing to like place blame on somebody over. Like,
yeah, it's a long, hard thing. And it was full of semen.
It's semen in the water too. And that's really the point is that, the properties of semen change once it's in the water.
Yeah. Well, that's the cum sharks can smell that.
Semen in the water is not the same as semen on like a hard surface.
Semen on the water.
Bow, bow, bow.
Dripping down my thighs. Okay. All right. Public reaction to the sinking focused quickly on accountability. Questions emerged regarding why the ship had sailed without escort. Why distress calls failed to generate immediate rescue. Why the Navy had not recognized the vessel's disappearance sooner. And they couldn't tell anybody.
Because secret.
There's a secret. Amid this atmosphere.
Well, the beauty is that if you're, governmental at all you have to say is, that's classified.
Yeah, but they didn't. Amid this atmosphere, Captain McVeigh faced court-martial proceedings.
What?
The principal accusation involved his alleged failure to zig when he should have zagged. No, his initial failure to zigzag while traveling through submarine-threatened waters. Zigzagging was widely used during the war to complicate torpedo targeting calculations, though the effectiveness of the maneuver depended upon numerous operational variables, including visibility, sea conditions, submarine positioning, whether or not you had clanky dishes, stuff like that.
Clanky dishes is crazy.
The prosecution of McVeigh remains...
That being what gave them up is wild.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a big, weird detail.
Yeah.
Like you needed China, motherfucking...
And from then on, every fucking naval vessel had paper plates.
Right.
Dixie brand.
The prosecution of McVeigh remains historically controversial for several reasons. Evidence demonstrated that Navy communications regarding submarine threats in the region were incomplete. Operational guidance concerning zigzagging also varied according to conditions. The Navy itself bore substantial responsibility for the communication failures that delayed rescue operations after the sinking because they weren't scanning the emergency channels.
Was he convicted of anything in the court-martial?
Maybe in this thing that I'm reading, maybe that comes up.
Okay, you could have just said, yeah. Well,
yeah, he's convicted of being a stupid asshole, and then they shot him.
I don't think that he's the one that should shoulder the blame on this one, personally.
Perhaps most remarkably, the Navy summoned Commander Mochitsura Hashimoto to testify during the proceedings.
Shut the fuck up.
Hashimoto stated that he believed he could likely have sunk the cruiser regardless of whether it had been zigzagging at the time of the attack. But despite these complexities, McVeigh was convicted. It says here that he was convicted of the bombing of the Oklahoma City building. No, he was charged with 2 counts, negligently hazarding his vessel by failing to zigzag, and inefficiency.
That's it.
Very inefficient, which is funny because he was being super efficient. He was going straight for where his
You are
location.
convicted of
He was like a day
inefficiency.
He was like a day ahead of his schedule.
You will be replaced by a newer model. Timothy McVeigh.
Many survivors believe the Navy had unfairly scapegoated McVeigh in order to deflect attention from broader institutional failures.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, it is exactly what it is. Over subsequent decades, former crew members campaigned to clear his name and publicized the circumstances surrounding the sinking more fully. McVeigh endured years of criticism and emotional strain. Families of deceased sailors sometimes sent letters blaming him personally for the deaths of their relatives.
Holy shit.
And in 1968, he died by suicide.
Oh, no.
By gunshot.
Damn.
The campaign for exoneration... I just want to say, I watched the movie USS Indianapolis, Men of Valor.
That guy made it through. I mean, he was in the water with everybody. He was one of the guys on the raft.
Oh, he was on a fucking raft.
Yeah.
But
Captain gets to be on the raft.
In the movie USS Indianapolis, Men of Valor, I'm going to ruin the ending of the movie. Okay?
Oh, no.
But
I was going to watch it.
It's pretty fantastic, this ending, though, because they go through the whole trial. He gets convicted, cuts immediately to years later, and Nick Cage puts a gun to his head and pan out to a nice house. Hear the bang. Credits. Just straight to fucking credits. Like, that's the end. It's the fucking... I was like, no fucking way they just did that. No, like, survivors playing with their children or whatever. No, like, soft landing. It just goes like, guilty, bang, credits. It's fucking gold.
That's wild.
Oh.
When was the court-martial? The
court-martial was in 1946.
So 1946, so Japan has already surrendered. World War II is over. That's
how he was able to get Moshiyatsu.
Yeah, I was going to say, they get the submarine commander.
Yeah.
How much did that cost to go get this motherfucker from Japan and have him fucking come to the U.S. for a court-martial?
Pretty much anybody in Japan had to do whatever the fucking U.S. military said at that
That's fair. So that was in 46, and then he killed himself in 68?
68, yeah. Almost 20 years.
More than 20 years. 22 years. 46 to 68. 22 years.
49.
Oh, I thought you said 46.
I did say 46. I'm thinking backwards because I have, was it alopecia or whatever that shit is?
You're losing your hair?
Dyscalculia.
Okay, so 1949. 19 years.
I've got fucking, what's that shit?
No, alopecia is not where you lose.
What's the thing?
Wait, is alopecia
what's the thing where you have to read backwards? Dyslexia?
Yeah.
I got dyslexia for numbers.
Okay, yeah.
It's called math stupid.
Alopecia is where you lose your hair. I was confusing that with vitiligo, which is where you start getting non-melanated areas of skin.
Yes. Leading to some of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
Dude, have you ever seen like half fucking vitiligo babes?
No. Maybe.
It's like it's like alien-esquely hot.
Oh, that's you got a weird like. I mean,
it's cool. It's like scars, like cool scars can make somebody like really hot. Is this just a me thing? Am I being?
I'm trying to think really hard at like if I've ever seen a chick who's got a scar and been like, yeah, that's hot. Same with vitiligo. Same with alopecia. I actually went to school with a girl with alopecia. She was a lovely girl and she was pretty, but she did have to start wearing wigs. Are you looking up?
Look at this babe.
I don't know.
Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just a weird.
It's a little strange.
It's a weird thing for me. Whatever.
A little strange. She's just she's a black girl. And everything around her lips is white.
And down her arms, which is cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's like fucking tattoos, but like natural tattoos. You know what? Let's move on.
Okay. So he was court-martialed. He fucking killed himself.
The loss of the Indianapolis.
19 years later.
Oh, yeah. Fucking the campaign for exoneration continued after his death. Historians, survivors, journalists, and even school students contributed to renewed public examination of the case during the late 20th century. And in 2000, the United States Congress passed a resolution effectively clearing McVeigh of responsibility for the sinking, and the Navy later amended his official record accordingly. And that is my research. That's the story of the USS Indianapolis.
Yeah, well, hey, maybe a little too late.
Well, I mean, a little like posthumous.
That was in 2000. He killed himself fucking 32 years earlier.
Yeah, the machinations of the government,
I don't think he's the one who should bear the responsibility of that. He was on a secret mission. He didn't have an escort. He was just fucking cranking, just going.
Well, dead now.
I mean, maybe the zigzag thing was, Drew, he was cranking.
Well, I mean, he
had a vessel full of semen.
There's a TV movie from the early 2000s, I think, that is mostly about sharks eating people.
Yeah.
I mean, that one's cool because it's like, it doesn't have there's not a lot of computer graphic stuff. So it's mostly just people like in the water going and getting pulled under, which is fun. And then the USS Indianapolis Men of Valor has a lot of computer generated sharks, which is bad.
Dumb.
I think that's it for movies though. So
in terms of, yeah, I don't think there are any other movies that really cover that. I think the first time I saw anything about this was like Shark Week did like a National Geographic dramatization. It wasn't really, it was like what they do for Shark Week, they got interviews of people. They had some guys who were on the USS Indianapolis. They're talking about it, and then it goes to like a dramatized version of.
Predominantly, you don't get not a lot of sharks in media. You got like Sharknado, fucking Deep Blue Sea.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, is that open water that I talked about?
King Gizzard and the Wizard song. They have
a shark song.
They have a song called Open Water.
That song, Baby Shark. Yeah, I think that's about it for like shark movies. There's 47 Meters Down.
There's a new one that just came out recently.
It's called fucking.
The Megalodon movie was that?
Oh, the Meg.
Yeah,
that's good. And the Meg 2.
That's it.
Finding Nemo with Bruce the shark.
Yeah, but he was a nice guy.
I think that's it.
Well, shit, we can't think of any other shark movies, so. If you liked this episode and you want to let us know, please get on whatever you're listening to. Give us 5 stars. Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. That would be great. We really like that, and it really helps us out. On Spotify, leave us a comment. That helps us out a whole bunch. Check us out on Instagram at Delete Everything Podcast, on YouTube at Delete Everything Podcast, and join us on Patreon, patreon.com/Delete Everything Podcast. You will get a whole bunch of episodes, and they're fun. And if you don't believe me, go listen to the 3 that we have open to the public. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah, if you're enjoying this, man, I want to know it. So send us a picture of a smiling face.
Leave us a Spotify comment if you can think of any shark movies that we left out.
Send a smile, you son of a bitch.
Bye.
Bye.
$9.99 all month at Red Lobster.